y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Because I've Healed. This is a little different. I am taking a walk in my mom's neighborhood. I am back from Lisbon for about a month total because I had an opportunity to lead a retreat for founders, business owners in the Bay Area. And the cool thing is that I used to work with this same organization that hired me as an attorney doing their business and legal coaching for founders. And then when I told them that I was moving on and I was doing witchy woo woo stuff now, they said, "Oh, perfect. I think you'd actually be a great person to lead a retreat for the founders." So that's what brought me back to the Bay Area. And then I just came up to from San Francisco to Portland to visit my mama bear. So I'm taking a walk through the neighborhood. So I'm out of breath because there's a slight incline and movement uphill. But I just wanted to try this because, I get all kinds of messages and downloads and I get them in the moment and then I don't do anything about them in the moment. And then I go to record something or write something and then I'm like, I've lost it. I'm completely lost. So let me just try this in the moment. So we'll see how it goes. You have to let me know how you like it.
Welcome to Because I've Healed, the podcast where we talk about shaking the chains of expectations placed on us by the world. My name is Asha Wilkerson, and I'm a former high-achieving attorney and college professor turned healing-focused life coach for Black women. Each week, I'm bringing you a life lesson that started with healing. Not only will I explain the chains I was able to break, but also the success I experienced after. Let's get to healing.
So one thing I just saw today that I reposted in my stories, it was this image of this little boy standing on like a kayak or like a boat that you would row for crew. And the people in the boat were moving really, really fast. And the caption was, me with my guides and my ancestors and my spiritual team behind me. And of course, he was moving way faster, or the boat was moving way faster than any of the other kayaks or like crew boats in there. And that just like really resonated with me. There's something that I'm feeling right now in my life where I feel like I'm supercharged. I feel like I am supercharged, even though there are still things that I'm working on, even though there's, not everything is perfect, even though I am still looking at making more money, even though I'm still waiting on my residency in Portugal. But there's something that has happened since I really got connected with my guides and my ancestors. And it is that feeling of being supercharged. It is that feeling of feeling like I've got so many people and like so much support behind me that there's literally nothing that will stand in my way. I have never felt like that before in my life. And I 100% without a doubt know that it has everything to do with my spiritual connection and my intuitive connection. And I just want to put that out there because we often hear about ancestral healing. We're connecting with our ancestors from a place of healing, a place of like going back and reworking trauma. But that's not my position. Right? There's things to go back and heal, but there's so much joy to get. There are so many dreams to build. There's so much stuff to do that you can do and do well and do with the support of your ancestors. Now I'm at my old elementary school. I go sit on the swing so you can actually hear me because I'm still out of breath. There's just so much to do. There's so much that we can have, and it's not all about healing. And I don't want you just to think that when you connect with your ancestors that you have to go back down these deep, dark, painful past experiences to connect with your ancestors. That's not what I'm doing. I have connected to the energies and the spirits of the ones that are healed, that are whole, that have a vision for me, the ones who are supportive. And literally, I'm just saying, when I intend to connect, meditate, and things like that, like I'm inviting in the whole and healed ancestors, the ones who want nothing but good for me, the ones who are healthy and able to help me. And for those of you who are not yet healed, I acknowledge you, but now is not my time to work with you. And then I wait until I feel connected. And then sometimes I'll ask questions like, what do you want me to know? Or what should I know about this situation? Or, I'm feeling like I don't have support right now. Can you support me? Or I'm working on selling this thing. I need you, team, to be behind me and to help me out. And I feel like they do. I feel the energy of it. Sometimes things will happen. Maybe I'll get an email with an opportunity or something like that, or I'll make a sale. But oftentimes it's just the feeling of being supported. And so I want you to know that when you connect with your ancestors, when you connect with your guides, it does not have to be diving into this place of like deep healing. It does not have to be painful. It doesn't have to be draining. I want you to connect to the joy, to the love, to the support so that you can build forward. It doesn't mean that at some point you won't have to go back and address things, but I want you to pull in joy. I really want you to pull in joy. So as I was thinking about that, the video that I saw, go to well, by the time you see this, my stories will be expired, but I'll see if maybe I'll post it in my feed on Instagram. But I want you to think about like, what kind of joy can you access or would you access? Or what kind of dreams would you dream if you knew that your ancestors were behind you 1,000%? And not just behind you 1,000%, but like had some super bionic rowboat power that is stronger than any human and could get you there faster, get you there with more ease, get you there wherever there is for you with more flow. And just to think about like what would that feel like for you to have that energetic support behind you? What would that feel like to really dream and to not have limitations behind it? What would it feel like to be able to ask your guides and your ancestors for support and to say, like, I just need you right now, and to not question whether or not they're going to show up? That's how I feel right now. And I was thinking back to a couple weeks ago when marketing is always a struggle for me, but I was thinking back to, okay, what can I show? What can I do? And I'm not somebody who likes to do things for show. Even when I had a photo shoot a couple weeks ago, and my friend who took the photos was like, okay, do what you would do if you were to really connect. And I'm like, I don't do all of this in front of people unless it's in a group setting where we're doing it together. And it was so hard for me to like fake it, right? It was so hard for me to fake it. But we were talking about what kinds of things I could show or demonstrate. And somebody said, well, show when you go to a cafe. And I'm like, I don't really go to cafes. I got a place in Lisbon that I really like and it has enough room and I have my own office. I don't really go to cafes. Okay, well, show when you go to the museum. Like, yeah, I have museums on my list of places to visit, but I actually don't go to museums regularly. And then I had this thought of like, oh my God, what do I even do? But you know what I do? I do exactly what I want to do. I do exactly what I have dreamed of doing. I have created this life for myself that I used to write about and dream about. I said I wanted to get up without an alarm. I said I wanted to get up and make coffee and sit by big picture windows. I want a place with lots of light. I want to work out regularly. I want to have opportunities to connect. I want to hear music. I want to be able to dance. And I want to do work that lights me up, that doesn't feel like I'm going to work anymore. And all of those things have come true for me, except for with the exception is I'm still teaching part-time and that does still feel like work, but I'm building out my own business. And I realized that I am actually living the dream that I created. And what really opened that up for me was connecting to my intuition to help me make decisions to get to where I am and being in contact with my ancestors, because my healed ancestors, that connection has helped me not feel so guilty about leaving this American dream. It has helped me not feel so guilty. Like, people of color, immigrants, like, we get it, right? Our parents and our families have sacrificed so much for us to be where we are. And when we decide that we want to do something different that wasn't what they sacrificed for us to do, we feel guilty because we have all this opportunity and we don't want to do the corporate. We don't want to do this. It's hard to buy a house now and like all of these things, right? And so there's that maybe survivor's guilt for some of us. There's that first gen guilt for some of us. There's that success guilt that we get to choose a different path than what our parents had to go through. And I promise you, y'all, I was having a really hard time doing that, even though nobody in my family said that I shouldn't go to Lisbon. Nobody in my family said that I had to keep being an attorney. But because I am obviously aware of the sacrifices that my family has made and the challenges just that generation had to go through for me to be here, for me to be a licensed California attorney, it was the connection with my ancestors that made me realize that I don't have to struggle if I don't want to struggle. That the sacrifice that they had made, my parents, but even the ancestors before them had made, was for my freedom, not for me to continue to struggle, not for me to be caught up in a system that doesn't serve me, not for me to be miserable, not for me to be in this capitalist game when it is killing me inside. Their sacrifices, their wishes, their desires for me are for freedom and liberty, wherever, however, everywhere that I can have it and in every way that I can have it. But I wasn't able to access that until I developed my own relationship. And that, y'all, has given me joy. I am joyful. I am joyful, joyful, joyful. I don't always show it on here because I'm not subdued, but I don't know. Maybe it probably doesn't come across on camera. But now that I've been back in the Bay Area and have seen some friends and stuff, they're like, "Oh my God, you look so happy!" And I'm like, "You know what? I am." "Oh, you just look like you're so full of joy." I'm like, "You know what? I am." And sometimes it took me a minute to kind of realize that because, again, it's a break from the culture shift that I have been in where everything is a fight, everything is a struggle. But y'all, I am happy. I am really, really content. There's still things that I want. There are still things that I want, and that's fine. But I am really, really content. And I can tell you that connecting with my ancestors and developing my intuition, developing myself spiritually, has done more for me than anything else I've ever done. So I'm going to leave you with that. I want you to ask yourself, until the next episode, I want you to think about this. If you connected with your ancestors and you asked them, what kind of joy could you access through them, or how could they help you get joy? What would the answer be? And I would love for you to write back on the podcast or send me a message on Instagram, Asha Wilkerson ESQ, and let me know what you think, because joy is your birthright. Joy is the hope for you from your healed ancestors. All you have to do is make a choice to go and get it.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. The best way to keep in touch is to go to my website, ashawilkerson.com, and join my email list. If you'd like more information about this episode that you just listened to, head to the show notes and you'll find all the details and all the links. See you next week.